Hello everyone, this is Mrs. Dragoo here with another music theory lesson for musical theater. Before we get started, let's just take a deep breath. Okay, everybody, inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth, let it out. You may ask why I do that before every lesson, but it really does help us to focus. Not only getting comfortable and putting all distractions aside will help you focus, but also just taking deep cleansing breaths helps you concentrate and clears your brain. And that's why I do that before my lessons. Again, take a deep breath in through your nose, hold it, and let it out slowly. Okay. Today we're going to be talking about measures, time signatures, and meter. This lesson could get a little complicated, but we're going to take it slowly and we're going to talk about how we can learn to read the notes or play or sing the notes in time. Okay, what you see in front of you is the staff. Now, we talked about the staff before. This is a treble clef, right? The treble clef staff, and it's called G clef because that little loop in the treble clef actually wraps around the G line. Okay, so when that staff is split into two, we have what's called measures. So our bar lines then become measures. Notice that I've put that line in the middle. So now you're looking at two measures. Time signatures define the amount and type of notes in each measure. So it's important to know there are several different time signatures that musicians or composers use to write their music. The first and probably the most common is 4/4 time, and the second is 3/4 time. You can see both of those in those two measures. The first measure, 4/4, contains 4 quarter notes, right? So let's talk about what those numbers mean, the 4 on the top and the 4 on the bottom. Well, see, the time signature tells you how many and what kind of notes per measure there are. The number on top is the number of notes per measure, so we have a 4, so there's 4 notes per measure. And the number on bottom tells you what kind of note you're going to use. So let's take this example in 4/4. The 4 on top means there's 4 quarter, on bottom means there's 4 quarter notes per measure. Looking at 4/4, you see the 4 on the top. You already know that that meant there's going to be 4 something per measure. And then looking at the bottom, you can see that it's going to be 4 quarter notes because the 4 represents the quarter note. The second is 3/4 time. 3 means we're going to have 3 beats per measure. The 4 on the bottom represents a quarter note. Think of maybe a pie divided into 4 pieces. They're quarters, okay? Now, those are the most common time signatures. If we go back to the 4/4 and we were to sing those out, it would be la, 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 right? If we go to the 3/4 times, it's just la, 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 because there'll be only 3 beats per measure. Now, let's discuss the non-quarter note time signatures. There are 2 that we're going to cover today, 6/8 time and 3/2 time. 6/8 is, let's look at it little by little there. 6 on top means there are 6 beats per measure, and the 8 on the bottom, it means the 8th note gets the beat. So you can see 6/8 notes means 6/8 time. Let's look at 3/2. 3 on the top means there'll be 3 beats per measure, and 2 on the bottom means that the half notes are going to get the beats. Okay, so this chart right here displays all of the time signatures: 4/4, 3/4, 6/8, and 3/2. The number on top tells you how many notes will be in each measure, and the number on bottom tells you what kind of note will get the beat. 4 represents a quarter note, 8 represents an 8th note, and 2 represents a half note. That's fairly easy to understand. So let's move on to simple and compound meter. Each time signature can be classified into a certain meter, okay? The terms duple, triple, and quadruple refer to the number of beats in the measure. Now this is not hard because duple means 2, triple means 3, and quadruple means 4. The term simple means that each of the beats can be broken into 2 notes. So let's look example at 2/4 time. This is a duple, simple duple, right? It's simple because it can be broken down to 2 beats or 2 notes per measure. And the 4 tells us that the quarter note gets that measure. Duple refers to 2 beats. Simple states that each of those beats can be divided into 2 notes. All right? 2/2 time and 2/8 time are also simple duple. You have 2 beats per measure, and each of those beats can be divided into 2 other notes. 3/4 time is a simple triple, right? Simple, meaning that the notes can be divided into 2, and triple because there's 3 notes per measure. Triple, 3 beats per measure. Again, simple states that each of those 3 beats can be divided into 2. 3/8, 3/2, and 3/8 are also simple triple. Okay, those are pretty easy to understand. 4/4 time is simple quadruple because it has 4 beats which can be divided into 2 notes. 4/2 and 4/8 time are the same. I'm letting you look at that. 4/2 means 4 beats per measure. The half note is the 2, gets the beat, and then each half note can be divided into 2. Notice that the time signatures in simple meter will always have a 2, 3, or 4 on the top. Now, that's all you have to remember. 2, 3, and 4 are going to be simple meters, while the beats in the simple meter are divided into 2 notes. Beats in a compound meter are divided into 3. So compound is 3, simple is 2. So to demonstrate this, let's look at 6/8 time. 6 on the top means 6 beats per measure. 8 means the 8th note gets the beat. The 6th 8 notes can either be grouped into 2 beats, which is compound duple, or 3 beats. Notice how those are divided with the red line. Since the simple triple pattern already belongs to 3/4 time and 6/8 time, 6/8 is compound duple. Each of those can be divided into 1 beat. Notice that each beat in a 6/8 is a dotted quarter note. In fact, all compound meters will have some dotted note at its beat. Any time signature with a 6 on the top is a compound duple. 6/8 and 4/8 are the most commonly used, especially in 6/8 and 6/4 are what we use in musical theater the most. Something that we rarely see in musical theater, but sometimes we see it in orchestra and concert band, is 9/8 time. It's classified as a compound triple. There are 3 beats, 3 dotted quarter notes, thus making it a triple meter. Notice 9 on the top means 9 beats in the measure. 8 on the bottom means the 8th note gets the beat. So if you divide that up, every 3 equals a division, right? Since each beat is made up of 3 notes, the meter is compound. Anytime this time signature with a 9 on the top is going to be compound triple. Although 9/8 is the most common, sometimes you'll see 9/2, 9/4, and 9/16, but not usually in musical theater performance unless you're playing in the pit. Okay, and then finally we have 12/8 time. This is a compound quadruple. 12 on top means there are 12 notes per beat. 8 on bottom means the 8th note gets the beat. So notice in that measure there are 12 eighth notes. There are 4 beats, if you divide it up, making it a quadruple. Since each beat is made up of 3 notes, the meter is compound. Any time signature with a 12 on top is compound quadruple. 12/8, 12/16 are the most commonly used in orchestra and concert band. So you might see that if you're playing in the pit, but rarely do singers see these. I haven't come across these myself. Maybe you see more in professional theater, but I can't think of that myself. So just to remember today, we discussed that measures and time signatures are important. The number on the top of the time signature tells you how many beats or notes will be in each measure, and the number on bottom tells you what kind of note will get the main beat. Then in meter, you don't forget we have several different kinds. We have duple, triple, and quadruple, meaning 2, 3, and 4, and simple means that those beats are divided into 2, and compound means it's divided into 3. Now, what's going to be easiest for you to grasp this concept is for you to go to musictheory.net and do some of the exercises. This is something that you cannot get just once. You have to go over it and over it until you truly understand it. Go to musictheory.net, do some of the exercises there that have to do with measures and top signatures and compound and simple meter. You can also find sheet music you might have laying around the house and practice finding the time signature and figuring out if it's simple or compound. You could also find out, label on the sheet music that you have, how many beats per measure and what note gets the beat, okay? Now, this is going to help you as you better yourself as a musical theater performer, and you're learning how to count into a rhythm, which is where we'll go with our next lesson. I hope that this has helped you. I hope that it's been clear to understand. I know that it does get difficult, but keep on keeping on. Get out there and practice. Practice makes perfect when it comes to learning to read music. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.